Good afternoon and welcome to the Bulletin, where we bring you the news as it happens. My name is Edith Kimani. Welcome to Newsdesk.
That's right. My name is Boni Tunya and this is KTN Newsdesk, where news is brought to you as it happens. As always, we have a lot in store for you.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto this morning led Kenyans and a cross-section of leaders in the 12th National Prayer Breakfast.
Church leaders who delivered their sermons in the early morning meeting urged Kenyans to continuously pray for the country, putting it into focus on issues taking center stage, including terrorism.
Now, in his speech, President Uhuru Kenyatta cautioned Kenyans and their leaders against negative ethnicity, describing it as an evil that will deter development and growth in the country.
Now, in the rather brief address, the president also urged Kenyans to pray for the country. On his part, Deputy President William Ruto called on the leaders to work with integrity and give priority to delivery of services to Kenyans. Here is part of that address.
All of us together, we have been entrusted, especially those of us seated here today, with responsibilities of leadership across the divide. And therefore, because God, by design, not by mistake or default, has entrusted leadership on us, led by His Excellency the President. Those of us in government leadership must govern with fairness and equity. And those entrusted with the leadership of the opposition must do so with responsibility, knowing very well that we are doing this for our country.
God has never abandoned Kenya. God has been, God is, and God will always be there for this country. And today we have heard many messages. If we just went out there, we just left this from today, and just committed ourselves to go out and practice what has been preached here by ourselves as leaders, we have a great country and great prosperity and a great future for the people of this land.
Elsewhere, the South Mugirango MP Manson Nyamweya has criticized what he terms as flip-flopping by the Inspector General of Police David Kimayo on the issue of rallies, which are scheduled to take place this weekend. Now, Nyamweya urged Kimayo to act independently, saying he should not allow himself to be used by external forces to make and rescind decisions. His utterances come a day after Kimayo lifted the ban on political rallies. Now, the CORD coalition has expressed the intention of carrying on with plans to hold a public rally after former Prime Minister Raila Odinga jets into the country this Saturday.
I'm asking the Inspector General not to act because of pressure from any quarter. If he acted from the pressure of the government to cancel the rallies, and now he has got pressure from CORD to say the rally should go, then I'm sorry, it's the wrong man this country can have as an IG. He's supposed to be independent to make decisions based on what the law states.
Security has been tightened around Makutani and Kiserian areas of Baringo County as locals held demonstrations to protest rampant insecurity in the area. 2 days ago, armed bandits grazing their animals in the area razed down 7 houses, rendering 326 residents homeless in what is believed to be a retaliatory attack. Aggrieved Ilchamus community members led by local activist Amos Olempaka, held the peaceful demonstrations in Sirata area, demanding that the Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo, addresses the perennial insecurity in the area. Now, the ongoing tension has affected learning in Kapindasum, Arabal, Makutani and Ramacha primary schools that have closed indefinitely.
Na maandamano ya wakazi kutoka jamii ya Ilchamu.
Sio hombi, ni haki yetu kikatiba. Tukuje tulindwe kama Wakenya wengine. Tumechoka kupoteza watu. Saizi watu wanahama, watahama wapi? Na hapa ndio mwisho yetu ya division. Kesho chakula waletea watu kwa sababu imagine mama analala msituni na watoto na anarudi nyumbani aendi kibarua yake ambaye anaendaka kila siku. Shauri ya shida. Saizi mifugo yetu iko kwa hali hatari kwa sababu huwa wanakula kwa milima. Lakini kwa sasa wanafaa wamekuja kwenda sasa pale pengine ambayo hakuna nyasi kwa sababu ya shida ya usalama.
Kuna mashule mengi yamefungwa na singine inatarajiwa kufunga wakati wowote. So tunaomba serikali wakuje wajaribu watatue hiyo shida, kwa maana tukiendelea namna hii tunaona elimu katika jamii ya Chamus itaisha na sijui tutaelekea wapi.
A strange disease that seems to have afflicted part of Narumoro sub-county in Nyeri has residents of the area worried and unsure of what to do as they wait for confirmation on tests of samples that have been taken from 40 students.
Now, the affected students of Karichuta Primary School first complained of abdominal pains, yellow eyes and yellow urine, and an alarm was raised as more pupils came forward complaining of similar symptoms.
Residents of Narumoro sub-county in Kenny East are a baffled lot following what looks like an outbreak of a mysterious disease that has seen more than 40 pupils of Karichuta Primary School affected. The symptoms that have manifested themselves in the affected students include abdominal pains, yellow eyes, and yellow urine. Worried parents flocked to the school seeking answers from the school administration.
Macho yake yero na hata mikono. Yeye akatumwa na nyuki. Na mimi nikaeleza daktari mtoto wangu anakojoa makojoa ya yero.
Walipata kwamba wanafunzi 44 wana ugonjwa unaoitwa ambao walitambua akasema unaitwa jaundice.
According to the area member of County Assembly Marete Ringiru, the residents suspect that the ailment might have been spread by a group of potato workers who had visited the area, but this is yet to be ascertained.
Mwezi wa 3 wa 4 katika eneo hili la Karichuta ama Kiamadhaga na Narumoro kwa jumla, vijana wengi utembea pande za Moro, Ronguruoni, Kiringet. Kwa vile hapa huwa viazi vinapungua.
A team of medics that visited the school took samples, and while initial fears were that the disease might have been hepatitis A, the acting county director of health, David Ndego, could not conclusively confirm this, but said that initial tests proved that there was indeed a problem with the liver. The Nyeri executive in charge of health, Dr. Charles Githenji, told KTN by way of phone from Mombasa that the symptoms that included fever, abdominal pains, diarrhea and jaundice had clinically pointed to hepatitis A, as tests had ruled out the possibility of hepatitis B. They have, however, ordered for more specialized kits to retest for hepatitis A again this afternoon.
We screened them for hepatitis A and hepatitis B. So far, the results have come out negative. The only positive result we are getting is their liver enzyme is slightly elevated. That shows that the kids could have encountered a virus or something which could have caused the liver function test to be elevated.
First batch of students exhibited the symptoms. Fears were rife that it could have been food poisoning, but that too was ruled out.
On the feeding program, we have no feeding program in the Karichuta Primary School, and therefore anything that is talked about what poisoning and aflatoxin, it is not here.
So we took the flour for baking porridge, the maize flour, the beans. We have taken them to Wambogo Public Health Lab, where they are being analyzed for any issues of aflatoxins.
The member of County Assembly, however, pointed an accusing finger at the health department for what he termed as a slow response. Some parents want the day school closed and the children sent home, with many fearing that the affected children might spread the disease to their siblings at home. Carol Der for KTN in Kenny, Nyeri.
from health matters to environmental issues, and on a positive note, because the first United Nations Environment Assembly is expected to be convened in Nairobi from the 23rd to the 27th of next month. Now, the Assembly will address environmental sustainability and will also see top-ranking officials within the organization attend the meeting. Among those who are expected to be in attendance are the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and the chief executives of different international organizations, and of course over 1,200 participants. The UNEP Executive Director Akim Steiner says this should be seen as a milestone for the country, despite recent cases of insecurity witnessed in the country.
We are also very pleased to note that the interest from the rest of the United Nations family has reached an unprecedented level. We will have amongst us also the chief executives of the United Nations Development Programme. We will have also our very own Mukisa Kitui, Secretary General of UNCTAD, joining us. It also marks a milestone in the very strong partnership, and that is why we wanted to have this press conference together this morning, of Kenya and UNEP. Since 1972, the journey of the United Nations Environment Programme and also the evolution of international environmental governance have been inextricably linked, with meeting after meeting that has taken place here in Nairobi.
I have been in contact with every part of our government, from our security services to our protocol services at the airport to the hotels that will host these delegates, and I have gotten very strong feedback on just how prepared we are, how ready we are to roll out the carpet.
Right, we're just about to take a short commercial break, of course, to pay the bills. But talking of who else is paying the bills, rather being paid, is Andre Young. Now, you know him as Dr. Dre, and he could be worth 800 million, not shillings, dollars. Well, the deal, he sold Beats by Dre, the franchise for the headphones and all that, to Apple Computers. So now he's officially hip-hop's richest guy.
I'm just really pleased that you're so excited about Dr. Dre for the first time in your life. Well, as you contemplate that story, which, by the way, can be found on www.standardmedia.co.ke, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be telling you how far Brazil has gone in terms of preparing for the World Cup, which is just around the corner.
Also, how you can get your personal financing. I'll be hosting Jacqueline Nyaga from Faulu. Welcome back. This is KTN Newsdesk. If you're seated here, you know we're having our afternoon business chat. And today we want to talk about personal financing. Does it even exist, and how can you access it? And to help me understand that better is Jacqueline Nyaga, who's a senior manager at Faulu Microfinance Bank. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
And she's insisting it's Microfinance Bank. Why?
The reason we are insisting it's Microfinance Bank is because Faulu has come a long journey.
Right.
We started as a simple non-governmental organization, but we have progressed from step to step with the help of Kenyans who have been very good customers. Now we are saying we are taking them to the next level. So we are still maintaining a very strong focus on our foundations, but we want to focus on other sectors as well, because we believe that all Kenyans should access financial services.
Madam, you've mentioned personal finance and personal banking, financing rather, and there's a figure of 9.5%. Tell us about that.
9.5% reiterates our commitment to Kenyans. That you can access loans from as low as 5,000 shillings to millions, depending on whether you're just starting out in life as a business person or as an employed, self-employed person. But you can also access millions of shillings. But the key message to Kenyans is that you can do that at an affordable rate. And that you can succeed even as Faulu succeeds, because the sector is quite profitable. Yes.
Many studies have been done, and a lot of lending institutions have been seen to shy away from small-time businessmen and startups and people who are just starting out. What makes Faulu so confident in this?
Faulu is confident because in our 20 years existence, we focused on the bottom of the pyramid. Those people that were in what is called chamas or groups or merry-go-round self-help groups, we have a capacity to understand how those function. So we have maintained our focus on those, but the exciting thing is we have seen that as we have continued to serve them, they did not remain at that level. That the services and the loans that we gave them, together with the education and the training, lifted them from where they were, and they are well on their way to becoming the SMEs, which will drive the economy like you know.
Madam, this is a very risky group to
Yes.
put your money on.
Yes.
Going forward, what do you see as a threat in people like you putting your money in this kind of clients?
I would not see it as a threat. I think many years ago we would have said that, but we discovered that this so-called threatened group really has repaid their loans in time.
Okay.
They have the highest repayment rates in the industry.
So what are the default rates we're talking about?
The default rates are really very minimal.
Okay.
It is nothing like you will see in the formal banking space. And our customers are very loyal, and when they discover that you really want to improve their lives, then they want to pay the loans. Right. One of the things we reiterate with our customers is if you pay these loans well, it means you get repeat funding. It means that the next Kenyan will access funding. So there's a way Kenyans work around an institution that inspires trust in them. And
right.
I think Faulu has
so
done that.
So this is a strategy that we're going to see going forward?
This is a strategy we are going to see going forward, okay. But we will also focus our attention on the rising SME space,
okay.
Because that is also an upcoming group. Once they develop their businesses and they move to the next level, then what? So we are saying that we'll come in to fill that space as well.
Right. A lot of small institutions, DTMs, microfinance, they start out small, very specific niches. They cater to their people. But once the big money comes in, you forget about that, transform into a conventional bank, and you move on. Is that the story for Faulu? Are we going to see Faulu turn into Faulu Bank, and then all these small people who've helped you grow are left behind?
I think we've been very specific, even with our name, Faulu Microfinance Bank.
Right.
That shows our commitment that we are still anchored to the roots. We believe